What's up, everybody? Welcome back. John Levesque here. This is Build a Bot, episode number 4. I'm John Levesque. I'm your host. I'm joined by Matthew and Kent as always. And today we have a very special guest, Manuela Pickler. How's it going, Manuela?
Hello, I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you, Kent and Matthew? How you guys doing?
Amazing for a Monday morning.
I was gonna say no, I'm doing awesome. There we go. We'll say that.
Good. All right. So we have a special treat today. We are going to keep the train rolling on figuring out how to maximize our use of Power Virtual Agents in our environment. And today, Manuela is coming to join us to show us how we can actually discover bots in our environment using the Center of Excellence. And so, Manuela, go ahead. The floor is yours. Take a second, introduce yourself to everyone real quick, talk about what you do, and then go ahead and give your presentation.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm Manuela. I'm part of the PowerApps Customer Advisory Team, so a colleague of all of you guys. And my specific kind of area of focus is admin and governance. And as part of that, I own a set of templates called the CoE Starter Kit. So I'll quickly share my screen to walk you through what the CoE Starter Kit is, and then dive into the components that we have in there specific to chatbots.
Awesome.
So just as a kind of quick introduction, the CoE Starter Kit is a templatized implementation of best practices. So if you're looking at admin capabilities, you've obviously got everything that's in the admin center for the Power Platform, as well as the availability of connector and PowerShell commandlets. The CoE Starter Kit is a solution that implements some of the proven best practices that we've seen working with customers. It's a collection really of apps and flows and a dashboard that can really help provide a starting point for developing a strategy to adopting, supporting, and governing the Power Platform. And we've recently added some components to it to help with the administration of Power Virtual Agents as well. So I just want to quickly kind of give you an overview of that as well. Overall, the CoE Starter Kit consists of various building blocks. So we've got the admin building block that helps an admin persona gain insights into their Power Platform adoption. So the ability to kind of see everything that's going on, who are your star makers, who is building something, what are they connecting to, etc. And then as you kind of mature in your administration, you then look at the governance components where you can establish kind of a process to perform risk assessments, identify orphaned resources, for example, or identify highly used resources that might need a stronger support. And then as you kind of mature in that area as well, you might start looking at nurturing. So creating a thriving community, sharing best practices, connecting makers with each other. So there's kind of a mentorship program or Power Buddy program, for example, to get that going and really creating that excitement around the adoption of the various Power Platform components there. So hopefully that kind of gives you a good overview of what the CoE Starter Kit is all about and what it can add to your organization, into details of the Power Virtual Agents elements of it. So part of the CoE Starter Kit that we've kind of just looked at is a Power BI dashboard that gives you a tenant-wide holistic overview of resources in your tenant. So all of your makers, all of your apps, all of your flows, and through that you can really get an insight into what is going on. So we're now looking at the chatbot overview page where at a quick glance you can see where your makers are located, who those makers are, and then which environments you have that have chatbot activity, and then the same information is available for apps flows and UI flows as well. But I'm obviously focusing on chatbots for now.
So Manuela, on this screen, I mean, the interesting thing, I jumped away, but the interesting thing is that what you showed there can apply to both customers who are rolling out kind of one chatbot to like a B2C chatbot with lots of different environments, or customers who are doing kind of internal stuff. That information you provided there works in both those scenarios, right, with different environments and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you would see all of your chatbots listed there, and you could see if there's some chatbots available in kind of multiple environments, or generally if there's a trend, for example, in the default environment where there might be a lot of makers who are stumbling over chatbots and are just trialing that out as well. So yeah.
Nice. And you said it goes across all my environments as well,
Yeah.
so I don't have to try and scan each individual environment. Just nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So on the deep dive, yeah.
I was just going to say, and does this include the new Dataverse environments for Teams as well?
No, at the moment it doesn't. So there's a, I don't know if you want to include that. There's a permission gap where the Power Platform admin doesn't have permissions to the Dataverse for Teams environment. It's looking into it.
Cool.
But yeah, at the moment that's a gap.
Good to know.
If you then kind of further dive deeper into the virtual agents, you can see exactly kind of the number of bots you have, and you can look at the creation trend. So maybe you've organized a hackathon, or you ran the Power Virtual Agents in a day training event internally in your company, and you can then kind of see if that causes a spike in bots being created, if the hackathon had kind of the intended impact of creating excitement around chatbots, for example. And then in that list view, you can really see all of the bots that you have in your environments, across different environments. You can see the number of sessions a specific bot has had. So how often has that bot been launched? And you can see when the bot was last launched. So that is a really good indicator of the usage of a bot, for example. And if you want to keep your environment tidy, you can look at all of those bots that have never been launched, that have names like, sample, test, example, etc. So those it's a good indicator that those were created because someone was doing some training, but they might actually not actually be a production scenario. So as you're looking at keeping your tenant clean, you could maybe reach out to that maker and ask them to kind of delete that, or you just ignore it. But then for some of those bots that are obviously used much more often, where the last launch date is quite recently, that's a good indicator that it's a successful scenario that's used very often. So in that case, you could reach out to the maker and with your Power Platform community internally. And then we've
really
also
cool,
got through the office. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so in the one example, even though it's named sample bot, you can see that it's the same bot, but it's been deployed across like the dev environment, the test environment, and the prod environment. So if an administrator wants to see are people following good hygiene when it comes to ALM and having the bot, this would be one view that would allow you to go ahead and do so, which is something that you're not going to find elsewhere in the product itself. So this is a great way to be able to view across your organization and make sure that people are following good practices around their bot and not just developing in prod, sometimes as well.
We might want to ask that maker though, what happened? How come they dropped 4 flows? I feel like they were making such good progress. They had 5 flows in test, and then they had to drop them to go to prod. I don't like it.
I wonder who that person is that created those. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might be. I think it might be Lydia, which is Ken's alter ego. But I think, kind of to your point, it's a good indicator, because as you look at it, you can see in development, this bot has 19 components. So that's your entities, your text in there, and it's using 1 flow. In test, all of a sudden it has 22 components and 5 flows, and in production it's got again a different number, which means that yes, they're using dev test and product environments, but maybe they're not following deployment guidelines and are actually changing something in production that hasn't been in dev before. So there's probably some education that Kent needs in that area.
So what I think it means, I'm doing some testing in test, but what it means is I'm just finishing my testing so I can then move to prod and get everything in sync. But yeah, something's going on in test there. I've skipped a step. I must have shared it with someone, and they've gone in and added things.
There you go. It's definitely, I see that. You probably shared it with me, and I started changing things up.
Yep, definitely.
The other thing that's really cool is the sessions, right? So that's something that people are naturally really interested in, especially with customers. They want to understand, like, how active is this bot, especially when there's like a financial component to it as well. And so that's another thing that you can get some insight in terms of the activity in your bot. And so once again, you're not sort of relying on tribal knowledge, or you're not relying upon the maker to have to go into maker analytics. It's something where you can get some of that insights and be able to see it once again across the organization, which is hugely valuable here.
Yeah, exactly. And then as it goes, if you are particularly interested in what a specific bot does, you can drill through to the bot details. So that's the details for this one specific bot that you've selected, and you can then get an overview of the components that it's using. So what are the different intents that it's using? What's the text that is being used there? So it gives you an even better kind of understanding of what that bot is for and what it does. And then again, from kind of the overview page, as you know from Power Virtual Agents, you can trigger Power Automate flows as well, and you've got that number here as well. So you know that if a bot is triggering multiple Power Automate flows, it's an indicator that the maker is quite advanced. They know what they're doing. They've really tested the product. They're using multiple components of the Power Platform together to create a successful experience. So maybe they could be a mentor to some people that are just starting out with the platform as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know you could actually drill down one level deeper. So that's something I learned today as well. That's cool.
Yeah. Actually, something that we're just working on is on that drill through page to also provide details of the flow. So it's obviously not available just yet, but we're hoping to include the flow that's being triggered as well as the connectors that are being used in that flow. So then the admin can get a better understanding of what that bot is actually connecting to from the flow side. So that's work in progress at the moment.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to connect some of the dots. It's all the information is there, so it's just linking it up.
For sure.
So Manuela, if my customer wants this, how do they go about getting it?
So if a customer wants to get started with it, they can navigate to aka.ms CoE Starter Kit, and that's our docs page for all the documentation about the CoE Starter Kit. So they can read up about a little bit more about what the kit does to make sure and determine if it's a good fit for their organization. And from there, they can also download the kit there. So it downloads a zip file that contains the solution components as well as the Power BI dashboard. We've also recorded a quick kind of 5-6 minute overview video to give you, again, like an overview of what the CoE kit does. And then you can use the navigation on the left-hand side to learn about what's in the solution and obviously also how to kind of set it up. But so, for example, if you look at the how to use the kit, there's the dashboard explained, and then under monitor, you find the virtual agent section, and you can read up directly on what that gives you here. So you get a good idea of what you get if you do download it and if you do decide to install it. But yeah, under AKMS CoE Starter Kit is all hopefully all the information that you need to get started.
Nice. And shout out to those videos. If you're doing the CoE Starter Kit, you should definitely watch the videos. Paul Colmsey, one of our MVPs, helps make those videos, and he adds in some great humor. He and his daughter Ash, they just make it entertaining and fun, and add in some personability to it. So definitely give those a look. Even if you know how to install the kit, give them a look just because they're funny. They'll give you a good laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved working with Paul on those videos, and I think they add great value in not just walking you through what's in the kit and how to use it, but a perspective of what advantage you get through it, and kind of a viewpoint on how you can get the most out of some of the components.
Totally. Yeah, it's a great thing. This is awesome, Manuela. This is really, really cool. I love this, and I love that you're already sharing with us some of the additions that you're already working on. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it is great. We have customers that are asking this question all the time. So now to a video that we can also put in addition to the recent blog post. Awesome. So thank you so much, Manuela, for putting this all together.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, you guys at home, you know what to do. Go ahead and check the description. There'll be links down there. I'll have a link to the starter kit so you can go ahead and download it and start poking around and install it in your environment and see the power for yourself. I'll have some links to documentation so that you can read up on it, all the things that Manuela showed. And then I'll have some other links so you can get started with Power Virtual Agents and continue your journey. Thank you all, Matt, Kent, and Manuela, especially Manuela, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, and you guys at home, go ahead and click like and click subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.